Okay, this is what I would call the ultimate test for Seed Guard. What we're looking at here is we're trying to do a lawn area in a gravel parking lot. And we scraped off the big rock, but as you're going to see underneath the blanket, this was just installed about 2 to 3 days ago. We put this down. And I'm going to show you what's underneath here, and then we're going to come back and show you again what the results are. We seeded it with Kentucky 31 fescue and annual rye. Easy grasses to grow, but not that easy to germinate the fescue. So this has been down for about 2 to 3 days. We're going to take a look underneath here and see what we've got for a soil to grow in. Literally, as you can see here, a lot of this seed is on top because we couldn't pound it in the soil, but it's basically just rock. It's gravel. And there's no grass growing here yet. But we're going to see what happens in about 3, 4, maybe a week. We'll see what happens then. You see, we've got it on here loosely. This is so if the grass does grow, and it will grow, that it can grow underneath without going through the fabric. And it does a good job. It's certainly an alternative, a much better and cleaner alternative than straw, which would simply blow off even if we tried to hold it down. And it's very clean. It holds the moisture in when we do get, we're having to irrigate now because we haven't had any rain forever here. This ground was so compacted, it was unbelievable. We used a power rake to pound the seed in the ground. But I'm going to show you the results that we get when we use Seed Guard in about a week after we've got it down. I'll show you the results then when we come back. Okay, now we're out into a more of a lawn area. This was an existing lawn area. Unfortunately for me, I'm not a big fan of common Bermuda grass, but that's what we had out here. So rather than trying to get rid of the Bermuda, we just come in and overseeded it with rye, annual rye, and fescue. And I'm going to kind of open this up and show you at least we had some soil to work with here, but we didn't destroy the Bermuda. Instead, we just kind of overseeded it and then run a power rake over it. So yeah, you can see we got plenty of moisture underneath here. And the Bermuda that wasn't here is coming on strong right now. Very, very fast. But I don't see any germination because it was just put out. And we'll come back to this area in a few days and show you the difference. But this is basically what you've got now. You've got what was existing Bermuda grass that has come back out after all the construction, and it will always come back out, Bermuda. And it's going to form a nice turf that can be mowed. It won't look so bad, but they didn't want to try to get rid of the Bermuda, which is very difficult to do anyway. So we just overseeded it with the with the fescue and the ryegrass, and we let the Bermuda go. The first frost is going to be death to the Bermuda anyway. It won't be death, but it'll go dormant at that stage. But underneath here, you'll have a nice cover, a winter cover of rye and fescue for this winter. Another thing, keep in mind that when you're using this, you always want to make it loose on top. So you should see it kind of waving in the wind. We're not having much wind here now, which is kind of unusual. But you want to keep it kind of waving. And you can see the fabric itself doesn't provide, you should be able to see my hand right through it. This fabric will provide about 15% shade. And as you know, that's certainly a benefit to the grass, especially new seedling. And what it does, it provides a germination acceleration blanket. It'll accelerate the germination of the seed. It acts like a row cover, a crop cover. It's what it is also. It's used for other assets. But some of the big advantages to using this, it extends our season. So we don't worry about, say if it's December and we're wanting to seed fescue and try to bring it up. Typically that would be unheard of in this area right here in southern Missouri. By putting the blanket over the top, we can germinate the seed much later. Another thing we can do with the Seed Guard is that we can seed a lot earlier in the season. So it extends the growing season of the grass, or the seeding season. It also retains the moisture. We're nice and moist underneath here. Over in the rock area, it wasn't too moist. So what we've got underneath here is we've got, it's kind of like a micro environment underneath here. It's nice. It's not wind, doesn't blowing around. We don't have the birds out here feeding on all the seed that we just put down. It holds the moisture in, which we need for seed germination. And prevents the wind from blowing. Another problem that you've got often is when you seed like this, you'll have pocketing of the seed. The seed kind of floats around and pockets all in the low spots, and this doesn't happen. So you're going to see this when we take this seed guard off. It's going to look as though we laid a sod down, solid sod. I always use it for all my applications. A lot of people don't use it because they don't know about it, but I've been using it for about 10 years now, and it works really good. Kind of the disadvantage, yeah. You put down the straw, we straw this, we don't have to remove the straw, the wind does that part. It would take it over into this ditch and clog up all the drainage pipes over here. So it does have to be removed. It comes up real easy, it's not a problem. As long as you watch pretty closely, you can pop the pins up. If you leave pins down, they rust away pretty quickly anyway. So it does have to be removed though, so one of the disadvantages. A little more labor to put down than straw, but the results make it dang worth it. They're worth it. You get really a good looking, which you're going to see in a week or so. What we got in this area here is just pure rock. And if we'll take a close-up, you'll see what we were up against here. Spaces are holding really good. This was just gravel driveway. So we just threw some seed on it to see what would happen. Just kind of roll it as you go. Nothing but rock in this area, and it's going to wind up to be a pretty nice lawn. The rock will be underneath. As you can see in this area here, we didn't use the seed guard, and you see what happens to the grass. Like, it all tends to float down and clump up in one spot, and where we wanted grass, it's floated off the seed. All right, we'll peel this area back here and see how this one looks. Well, those staples hold it. All right, we're about to witness the what's underneath the seed guard after we put this seed in about 10 days ago. And this is what you're going to get when you use this product. You get a nice even stand, and this was some rough ground. It was really tough to seed in. It was very dry when we put it down, but we have kept a little water on it. But you can see the effects right here of what you'd expect. But if you'll notice that this seed, each seed didn't pocket and form clumps as you typically get when you just seed and turn the sprinkler on.